Hello dear friends, I'm Marina from MarsStars.net and you're watching the weekly horoscope for the last week of March. We have three exciting events during the week. Of course, the most important is that finally Mercury is direct. We are going to discuss how it can affect each of us and also make prediction for each of the zodiac signs. We also have Venus and Mars both changing signs. And the positive thing here is that they are both moving to stronger sign positions. Venus will be in Pisces and Mars will be in Gemini. We are going to discuss that as well and make a general prediction for each of the zodiac signs. So first, what you can find in this video, I will explain generally what all of those indications mean and how it can impact us and which areas might be more affected. And then I will make the general prediction for each signs. You will find all of this information below the video with timestamps. So if you're interested in a concrete part and you want to hear something specific, you can find that below in the description. Also, at the end of the video, there will be day-by-day horoscope for each day of the week, so that you can always come back and listen to the part that you're interested in or prepare for the next day. Before we dive deep into our next week astrology, let me also invite you to a free webinar which I will make tomorrow on Sunday. It will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So you can find the link below the video or watch the recording later as well. We are going to talk about fears and the astrology indications which can show different fears and also remedies for that. It will be extremely interesting. I will share some new stuff which I haven't talked about yet. So make sure to check this webinar. Okay, so let's start with Mercury. I think that this is the most important news. On Thursday, the 28th, Mercury changes its direction actually. So from retrograde, it turns to direct. Generally, it means that after that, we have a green light for starting new things and communication might be easier and more productive. And generally, we can start new projects. It's okay to start new projects because if you remember, when Mercury is retrograde, you need to be more cautious, avoid starting brand new things and make sure to check everything twice. Now with Mercury turning direct, things should go back to normal. And we may notice that working with information is easier, and when we communicate with other people, things are more harmonious. People understand each other easier, and generally we are not so likely to forget or to make mistakes. We can be more focused and more open to start new things. So after Thursday on the 28th, Mercury turns direct. Now make sure to pay attention around 1-2 days before this inversion. Basically, mostly on Wednesday and Thursday. This is the time when Mercury is stationary, which means that you need to be extra careful. These are the most critical moments when Mercury changes its direction, at the very beginning and at the very end. So specifically on Wednesday and Thursday, be very careful and if possible avoid important negotiations or something which you really want to be smooth and on time, or at least prepare for some kind of delays or possible mistakes or things like that. But as we said, after that, so after Thursday, things will be easier generally for each of us. Now, let's talk about the ingression of Venus. Venus enters Pisces on Tuesday, I think, yes, on the 26th Tuesday, which is a very strong position for Venus actually. Venus in Pisces is in an exalted position, which means the strongest possible position after the rulership. For Venus, these are Taurus and Libra, the most harmonious positions. The next one after that is Pisces. So Venus is feeling really comfortable in this position, really strong. And how it can affect us is that we can become more romantic. We might be kinder, more compassionate, more sensitive and emotional. Generally, when Venus is in a water sign, the sensitivity and the emotionality are increased, and people really need to connect with others deeper. They really need to experience this exchange of emotions. So for relationships, of course, this is a great position. And also for creativity, for art, for beauty, for finding more peace or enjoying more harmony in your life, this would also be a very nice ingression. And Venus will stay in Pisces for the next couple of weeks, so it's not only for this concrete week, but also the weeks after that. Now, about Mars, Mars enters Gemini on Sunday, on the 31st of March, Mars will enter Gemini, so basically at the end of this week. And it's important because recently, or until Sunday, Mars is in Taurus, which is a very weak position for Mars. Mars does not feel comfortable there. And if you have noticed that, things are happening slower for you, or you are not so brave, or maybe you notice that people hesitate before they take action, well, this will probably change after Mars enters Gemini. And it's not that Gemini is the strongest position for Mars, but the previous sign, Taurus, is very weak for Mars. So that's why we can notice the difference. And we may notice also that there is more flexibility in our decisions, in the things that we want and we do. Also in business, this may help us to be more creative, to take action, especially when it comes to our ideas, especially when it comes to working with information, basically all of the Gemini stuff. We're going to talk about in a little bit about the impact on each sign, but generally keep in mind Mars in Gemini supports the direct expression with words, or on the challenging side, sometimes it may bring verbal aggression, or people, might be sometimes use too sharp words, for example. But generally, to express yourself, your ideas, your thoughts, this would be a strong supportive position. And also when it comes to learning things or traveling, Mars in Gemini may also bring you more energy when it comes to those type of activities. Now, the challenging side of Mars in Gemini is that we may not have a clear focus. You know that Gemini is a sign which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is an inconsistent planet. So the risk here is that we may start different things at the same time. We may not have a clear focus, or we may start something and shortly after that switch to something else. And as you understand, this is not the way to achieve long-term results. So keep that in mind. On the other hand, this may bring you more variety and more excitement in your life. So these are the three major events of the week: Mercury direct, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Gemini. The three of them are all positive. So generally we can expect that there should be an improvement during the week, even though the week is specific because this Mercury shift, after all, requires from us to be even more prepared. Also, we are getting closer to the next new moon. So basically the full moon has just passed during the previous week. So you know that during this part of the lunar cycle, the energy decreases, especially when it comes to outer things or outer projects. So it's more a time to reflect, it's time to process things, maybe to prepare. And pay attention also to the romantic stuff in your life, to your emotions, to your feelings. I think that this would be the right approach during the week. So now let's start with our general forecast about each of the signs. We are going to start with Aries. First of all, Mercury turns direct in your 12th house after Thursday, which is great when it comes to your emotions, when it comes to the time that you spend alone. You may notice that you are not so introverted, or repeating those constant things in your mind all over again, or focusing too much on the past. It's time to slowly come back to the normal life, or it's not that, you know, it's unnormal to process things on the inside, but your attention won't be so much on the past basically, and more on the future. On the other hand, Venus entering Pisces, also your 12th house. This happens on Tuesday. So after Tuesday, Venus in 12th house may also make it more pleasant for you to be on your own, or to enjoy some time alone. Also, spiritual practices are related to 12th house. So why not spending some time meditating, or just relaxing, or reflecting on how you're feeling, really paying attention to the feelings, not so much to the thoughts, but more to your feelings. And generally this is the time probably to let go of emotions that you don't need anymore. For some people, maybe even relationships that they don't need anymore. And this is kind of a preparation for the next period when Venus enters your first house, and this would be kind of a emotional renewal for you. And Mars enters Gemini on Sunday the 31st, which is your 3rd house, and will stay there for, well, around 6 weeks, I think. So time to concentrate really on communication, on your ideas, on taking action about the ideas that you have. And also when it comes to creating some new contacts, or connecting with new people, or doing something together with friends, anything related also to your social circle. Or you may notice also that you really want to travel, and especially if it comes to business traveling, or you know, something like that, this would be actually a very strong, very supportive position for you. Next we have Taurus. For Taurus, Mercury turns direct in your 11th house after Thursday. So generally it can improve your communication with friends, with your community, with groups of other people. If there were some kind of misunderstandings, or maybe, you know, there were complications in your communication with friends, after Mercury goes direct, things will be smoother. And when it comes to your ideals, or the things which are important for you, also you may notice that it's easier to accomplish them. You have a clearer vision. You are not so confused, or things are not so complicated actually. So 11th house is a very positive area for you during the next upcoming weeks, because also Venus will enter Pisces after Tuesday. So basically Venus will join Mercury in your 11th house, which means that you may really enjoy spending more time with friends, or emotionally you may balance things, or there might be a mutual understanding, more compassion between you and other people. You may feel emotionally supported by others, and of course you may express the same towards them. So it's actually a very nice combination when Mercury turns direct at the same place where Venus is about to come. It means that there is a double positive impact for you. And Mars will enter your 2nd house after Sunday. This is a great thing which can make you more motivated when it comes to earning money, or doing something different to increase your income. Now, on the challenging side, Mars in 2nd house can make you more impulsive when it comes to financial decisions, or some kind of expenses, or, you know, spending money on something. But of course, that's totally up to you as well, how you're going to use this energy. Generally speaking, this is a powerful position for feeling more energized and more motivated to improve your financial situation. Next we have Gemini. So for Geminis, of course, it's big news that Mercury turns direct, because that's the ruler of your own sign. So after Thursday, Mercury turns direct in your 10th house. That's, by the way, also a key position in the horoscope. So what you can expect is a general improvement when it comes to your work, your business, your social reputation, or the impact that you have and the connection that you have on other people. And if there were some kind of misunderstandings or some projects that were kind of, stuck or didn't work very well, you may expect improvement in this area, or you may expect that things will be fixed in those, challenging projects for you. And another thing which is also very positive is improvement of your communication with authority figures or people who have more power, perhaps your bosses, or possibly also government institutions, for example. If you have some document issues with government institutions, or even in terms of your business, things with documents generally will be easier, more productive, and will happen faster generally after Thursday, after Mercury turns direct. Another great news for your 10th house is also that Venus enters Pisces and also your 10th house after Tuesday. So generally that's great news also for your career, for the ability to make other people like you, to make them appreciate you. And you may feel more valuable when it comes to your work and the impact that you have. Also, things that you are about to start when it comes to your work or business, you may enjoy them more. Venus really brings more joy and entertainment and harmony. It's not about, working really hard, being extremely focused or concentrated. That's not what Venus is all about. Venus is about enjoying things, about harmonizing things, and things may happen easier for you. You may receive some small gifts or small support from others, or you may feel like emotionally you are more open towards other people in your business and so on. So generally nice transit for you. And the last one, of course, Mars enters your first house. Mars enters your own sign after Sunday. Maybe that's even, kind of the same importance as Mercury, or maybe even more important, because Mars actually enters Gemini once in 2 years. So yeah, it is something significant to have Mars in your first house, and it's time actually to start new things, to feel more energized, more vital, more ready to take risks, more capable of competing with others. The challenging side, Mars can always bring you possible confrontations or too much impulsiveness, sometimes recklessness, but again, try to use it wisely, of course. If you find a constructive direction, for example, if you're highly motivated to achieve something, you won't have so much time and energy actually to confront with others or to attract people who will confront you. So generally, time for new actions, for new plans and projects, and for more passion. Mars is the planet which can bring you really high motivation and literally more physical energy. So I think that many of us can take advantage of this during especially the spring season. And on top of that, remember that Mars is the natural ruler of first house. Just like, for example, Venus is the natural ruler of 7th and 2nd house, Mars is the ruler of first house. So it's always a stronger transit when you have those type of connections. So prepare for increasement of your energy, for more motivation, more passion, more desire to do something on your own, and even to be more independent. Also something which the transit can bring you. Okay, so very quick break for my water. All right. So next we have Cancer. For Cancer, Mercury will be direct in your 9th house after Thursday. which is great news when it comes to your bigger plans or long-term goals or things that you want to achieve in your future. If you have been confused or you have revisioned some of your goals, for example, because my ascendant is in Cancer, while Mercury was retrograde, I really felt that I need to reconsider some of my goals. And it was kind of an important topic. I can't say really problematic or painful. It didn't feel like that, but I really reevaluated some things. And I guess that for many of you, this has happened as well. And now we may have a new, really different perspective about our goals, our dreams, and how actually we can get there. And generally you may notice that things are smoother about this area, that you are not so confused or things don't go wrong when it comes to your plans and goals. Also, we have a green light for traveling or planning our trips. Things will be more positive, or at least easier, and there is a lower chance for mistakes or misunderstandings. Another area where you may notice an improvement is when it comes to knowledge or education. Even if you're not a student, many people nowadays are constantly learning something new, which is absolutely fantastic. And you may notice that now you're more open to accept or to receive brand new information. So generally, great transit when it comes to our vision about the future. Another great news is that also Venus will enter Pisces and our 9th house after Tuesday. So this may bring even more joy when it comes to planning the future or seeing things in a different perspective or being more optimistic, because 9th house is also about your belief system. And Venus can make you really look more romantic, more poetic when it comes to your future. And as we said, Venus is very strong in Pisces, so generally we expect improvement in this area. And also, if you want to travel somewhere, totally do that during the next couple of weeks. Venus in 9th house can bring you more joy, more pleasant experiences when it comes to traveling abroad or wherever you want to actually. And the other transit, which is important, Mars enters our 12th house after Sunday. This is an important transit because that's the finishing phase, or the time when we need to complete something, things that we have started, or projects which have been important for us during the past 2 years. So pay attention to your intuition and also the things that you need to let go of, especially when it comes to your actions and the things that you are doing. Keep in mind, when Mars is in your 12th house, you may not be so productive because you also need time to relax. I know that personally I struggle with that, with finding time to take a rest, to slow down. Well, when Mars is in 12th house, this is kind of important. And on the other hand, the transit may be very positive for doing something on your own, working behind the scenes, as they say, or preparing for something which will be important for you, which you may probably start in around 6 weeks from now. So preparation, working on your own for things which are not necessarily visible for others or don't need to be, evaluated by other people. Mars in 12th house is also a nice position. But the more important here is to finish what you have already started, to complete things. Because you know what? If you are doing too many things or you don't complete everything that you start, all of those things are keeping your energy, they're pulling it back, or I don't know, it's just the energy is not so focused. So it's very important to complete the things that we start, not to leave them half done. So when Mars is in your 12th house, actually it would be one of the best periods to complete those things if they are important. If not, then just, you know, get them out of your list. Just accept that that's it, and I'm not going to come back to this, at least for now. So try to make a small reassessment for yourself and for the actions that you are taking, the projects that you have, and be honest to what is it that you really need and want to complete, and are there things that just need to be off the list. Okay, so next we have Leo. For Leo, Mercury turns direct in your 8th house after Thursday. So this is actually very positive when it comes to your investments or the money that you attract or receive from other people, and of course all kinds of mutual resources. Generally, you have a green light actually for investing money into new things. You may notice that also it's easier to manage your mutual finances with partners, for example, or if you're working in business and you're working with money, you may also find that it's easier for you. Things are not so complicated, you are not really making so much mistakes, and generally things are smoother. The other thing which is also very positive when it comes to your 8th house is that the transit Venus will enter the same house for you after Tuesday. So generally you may receive support from other people, financial or some kind of resources. You may just have more entertainment when it comes to working with all of those things. You may enjoy handling with some financial issues and literally receiving some kind of support from others, or maybe money that other people owe you, or anything related to that. 8th house can also be related to some kind of energy. Okay, here is a giant bee. I'm not sure if you were able to see it. Yeah, it's huge. Anyway, so 8th house is also related to the occult, anything secret, anything which is related also to your energy. So all of those issues may also be more positive. For example, you may notice that it's easier for you to balance your energy, or also you may enjoy to spend more time learning something new, especially if you're interested in spiritual stuff like tarot, astrology, psychology, and so on. All of that brings you more entertainment, and you are more open to receive or to understand new things when it comes to knowledge, and that's more because of the Mercury going direct there. But anyway, this area of occult stuff, secret things, finances, energy can be improved for you during next week. Now, the transit Mars for you will be in your 11th house after Sunday. So generally it can make you more active when it comes to doing things with other people. You may notice that other people motivate you or support you to do something together, or that you may actually motivate other people. But I think that the key for you to achieve more is through connecting with others, through cooperating with other people, friends, your community, people who share similar ideas. Don't try to be a single player. Instead, try to be a team player. It will definitely bring you better results, not only during this week, but also during the next 6 weeks. And another thing important for 11th house is that this is the house of our ideals. So maybe you can be more motivated to do something about the ideals that you have, or the things that you really want, that you truly and deeply value. Okay, short break, and we have the Virgo forecast. For Virgo, next week is also gonna be very important because Mercury, the ruler of your sign, turns direct after Thursday. And in your horoscope, actually, Mercury is in a very important house position. It's in your 7th house, which means that the important area of communication, connections, partnerships, including business and personal ones, will improve. You may notice that the communication is smoother, people are more open, people are more understanding, and generally, especially if you have felt stuck in this area during the past few weeks, now things are unlocking. They will become smoother in general. You also have a green light for starting new relationships or inviting new people on a date or on a business negotiation. Basically, anything which includes one-on-one connection with another person, both personal and professional. All of that can improve for you. Another great reason for that is that Venus is about to enter your 7th house as well. This will happen on Tuesday. So Venus in 7th house is in a very strong position actually, because that's the house which we naturally associate to Venus. So Venus can bring you more harmony, more joy, more entertainment when it comes to meeting other people, going on a date. Even business negotiations might be more positive for you, but keep in mind that the emotional element is very important. Even if you want to do business with other people, you need to connect with them through the emotional side, because Venus is in Pisces. That's one of the most emotional signs. So you don't need to be on, strict business and too serious and too distant. Actually, show compassion towards other people, show interest in what's important to them. You may notice that it may open the other person and he will accept you easier, which of course supports both personal and professional communication. So for you guys, great news for relationships and partnerships. Another thing which is also very important, the transit Mars will enter your 10th house after Sunday. 10th house is really one of the key houses in the chart. So Mars in 10th house won't stay invisible there, that's for sure. And this is also a great time for starting new projects, especially if you are doing something on your own, especially if you have your own business, or you are dreaming of having your own business or your own practice or work as a freelancer. This is a very empowering transit which can make you more motivated, more energetic when it comes to those projects, braver and willing to take risks, of course. Now with Mars, as we know, we always need to be careful at to certain level, because Mars sometimes can make us too impulsive or can bring some kind of confrontations with authority figures, or maybe sometimes even with institutions, especially government institutions. So make sure to be careful, not to rush things too much, to be hardworking and patient if possible. I know that with Mars usually it's difficult, but overall this is what brings more results. But generally speaking, great time for starting new projects in terms of work and business, and things that you want to be seen by other people. Okay, next we have Libra. So for Libra, the transit Mercury turns direct in their 6th house after Thursday. So great news for your work, atmosphere, environment, projects and everything. You may notice that things are smoother when it comes to communicating with clients or with your co-workers or other people who are important for your business. The chances for mistakes are much less, and generally you may have a clearer vision about the work process or how you can improve things. And also, of course, you have a green light for starting new career projects. You may have more ideas after that, more contacts which are mostly productive after Mercury turns direct. So overall, great news for work, career, business. If you have had some health issues, when Mercury has been retrograde in your 6th house, sometimes it might be difficult actually to find the exact cause for your condition, or you may feel confused about what therapy you should choose, or do you need to consult another specialist, for example. All of that is not so likely to happen. Actually, you may expect improvement in this area as well. And the other great news, both for your communication with co-workers and clients, and generally for your business, is that Venus also enters your 6th house after Tuesday. So Venus can bring you generally more positive emotions when it comes to the working process. It's not about, working extremely hard, being really productive and so on. It's more about how to find the harmony at your workplace, or how to love more what you are doing, even when it comes to things which normally look like boring. For example, repeating tasks, or if you have really lots of responsibilities towards other people, maybe related to your work, or even responsibilities towards family, children, and so on. You may enjoy more of those things that you are doing when Venus transits your 6th house. So overall, nice position, nice week for your work, communication with co-workers, which might be improved, which might be emotionally more intense, and can really help you actually to feel more comfortable. The other news, the transit Mars enters your 9th house after Sunday. So this is a harmonious position because Mars will make trine with your own sign. Mars in Gemini basically makes trine with Libra and also Aquarius. So overall harmonious position for you, which can make you braver, more active, especially when it comes to your goals, your future plans, the things that you want to achieve in the future. If you are working on something related to education or knowledge, or just improving, the skills that you have, this position is also very beneficial. And the other area which might be very active for you is related to traveling or long distance trips and so on. So overall, nice transit. And let me see. So yeah, that's the last thing about Libra. Another thing which we can also expect when Mars is in your 9th house is that you are not only making plans for the future, but you are also taking action. You are not passive, you are not waiting for things. You go and you make things happen, which is, one of the best sides of Mars. Next we have Scorpio. For Scorpio, Mercury will turn direct in 5th house, which is great news when it comes to your love life, your romantic life, the things that you love, your creative projects, or if you are interested in art, also things might be smoother. You might be more capable of doing new things. When it comes to love and dates, of course, you have a green light for starting new relationships or going out on a new date, asking someone out. Generally, Mercury improves the communication. So when it comes to the people that you love, the people that you are attracted in, Mercury direct improves the communication. Also your children, it might be easier for you to connect to them, to have a mutual understanding. If there are some things that didn't work so well, now you might be able to fix them. And the other great news is that Venus also enters your 5th house after Tuesday. This is a very pleasant position for Venus, actually, because Venus is about love and joy and entertainment. And 5th house has a very similar meaning as well. So they really like each other. I mean, Venus and 5th house, they connect very well. So it can bring you really more entertainment and joy and opportunity to do the things that you love. And especially for romantic stuff, this is just a fantastic position. So go outside, meet more people, don't be afraid to express your feelings, don't be afraid to show your emotionality or vulnerability, and it will connect you deeper with other people, which is always something positive when it comes to romances. Also with children, you may enjoy more the time that you spend with your children, or when it comes to creativity, you may notice that your increased sensitivity actually allows you to be more creative than usual. So overall, great news for your 5th house. The other important transit for Scorpio is that Mars will enter 8th house after Sunday. And Mars in 8th house, first of all, can make you more risky when it comes to some investments, spending money, generally taking risks. Mars in 8th house can really push you to do things which normally you are not so open to. So be wise, be careful. At the same time, for investments, this would be a nice transit, especially for people who work in business, who need to take risky decisions. That's just what, you know, business is all about. Another thing which sometimes you need to be careful is that Mars in 8th house increases the chances for possible accidents. So make sure to check if the transit Mars will make any challenging aspects with your personal planets while it's in your 8th house, because this may really show you the days when you need to avoid risky activities, like for example sports or things which can potentially hurt your body. Okay, very quick water break for me, and we are moving forward. So Sagittarius, next we have Sagittarius. For you guys, Mercury will turn direct in your 4th house after Thursday. So the main thing that you can expect is improvement in your communication with family members, with the people that you like, the people that you live together with, especially relatives or maybe even other people who share the same space as you. You may notice that things are smoother, that you are back to normal, or you understand each other better. If you have plans for relocation or moving or changing your home, or even for investing money in properties, now you have the green light to do that. Document stuff might be easier when it comes to these property issues, or finding the things that you like, that you want, is also easier. And the chances for making a mistake are much lesser. So overall, nice position, improvement when it comes to family, home, relatives, property issues. The other great news is that the transit Venus will also join Mercury in your 2nd house after Tuesday. So Venus in 4th house can bring you very positive emotional experiences with your family members, with the people who share the same place as you, relatives, maybe even your spouse. So just, you know, spending time at home might be extremely fulfilling. Finding more time to relax, finding more time to reconnect emotionally with your family members. It could be children, it could be other relatives, or even your parents. The emotional element here is very, very significant. And the more compassionate you are, the more you will improve the relationship. Venus in Pisces really asks us to love others no matter what. That's one of the typical things for Pisces, that they can accept, they can understand other people with their disadvantages, you know, for who they really are, without so much requirements, without so much rules. So when Venus is in Pisces in your 4th house, it really teaches you to love unconditionally, to express openly your feelings, your appreciation towards the people that you truly love. And of course, this is always a mutual process. What you give, you will receive at some point and in some way, that's for sure. So overall, your 4th house is very positively impacted during the next week, and not only, even after that. Another important event for you guys is that the transit Mars will enter 7th house after Sunday. Generally, it puts more attention to your relationships, your partnerships, to be more active. It can bring more dynamics in this area of your life, making you more capable of taking risks, sometimes competing with others, sometimes confronting them when necessary. But at the same time, you may notice that when you're with someone else, this person actually motivates you more. It could be because of your desire to compete. It could be because of the positive model that you are seeing. For no matter what reason, the final impact is that you are more likely to take action when you follow the example of other people, or when you do something together with another person. For relationships, Mars can bring more passion, especially in the horoscope of a woman, especially if you are a woman. Mars in 7th house can bring a new man in your life. Or even if you are already in a relationship, there might be more dynamics, and you may notice that your partner is more active, he wants you to respect his male energy and so on. So great time actually for relationships and partnerships, and also for business partnerships. Mars is a planet which is important for business because it allows you to take the needed risks. So overall, this can boost your confidence and your ability actually to take action, especially when you are together with another person. Capricorn, my dear sun sign friends, for us Mercury turns direct in our 3rd house, which is great news when it comes to information, when it comes to communication with other people, the small things that we are planning, plans for traveling, document issues. Basically nowadays 3rd house is really, really important. Also, you may notice that your ideas are more organized or more structured. Mercury in Pisces, and especially when it's retrograde, can bring a lot of mess in your mind, and it means that you might have been confused at some point what you should do, what decision to take. Is it the right direction or maybe not? Now, after Mercury turns direct in 3rd house, you may have a clearer focus about the future, and it might be easier for you actually to process new information, to work on your new ideas, to create new contacts with other people. By the way, signing up contracts may also be something which happens easier basically when Mercury is direct in your 3rd house. So overall, communication, ideas, intellectual work can be much more productive for you after Thursday, of course. And the other great news, which also concerns our 3rd house, is that Venus will enter 3rd house after Tuesday, which means that you may really enjoy you may experience more positive emotions when it comes to doing something to your third house. It could be traveling, it could be going on a short trip, or enjoying more the communication with other people, connecting with them, having conversations with your friends as well, or with new people. The emotional connection again is extremely important because Venus is in Pisces, as we know, so the emotional element is very significant. And another thing is that also you may enjoy more the intellectual work that you have, or the ideas that you have might be more well, emotionally fulfilling for you. For example, you may find new ways to really achieve the things that you, or at least to do the things that you really like. So overall, great news for friendships, intellectual work, traveling, and learning new things as well, because Venus is in third house and because Mercury turns direct in third house as well. Now, the other thing is that the transit Mars will enter our sixth house after Sunday. Mars in sixth house can bring lots of energy when it comes to your work and your responsibilities. You may have literally more energy to focus on them, to start new work projects, to, especially if you have your own business or you would like to have one, then Mars in sixth house really increases the energy and makes you capable of taking the needed steps, taking the needed risks as well. The challenge here is that Mars sometimes can make us too impulsive, or may also bring possible confrontations with co-workers or clients. So make sure to be patient when needed, not to rush things, not to hurry with your responses, and especially when it comes to verbal communication because of the sign, because Mars is in Gemini. Make sure to think before you act. That's, I think, one of the general advices for Mars in Gemini, but generally great for work, business, also some kind of physical exercises which can improve your health, your physical condition, also important. Keep in mind that Mars in sixth house sometimes can increase the chance for getting something like a flu, or those type of colds which come and go really fast. Or the other thing which Mars can bring is cutting your body, for example, with a knife or while you're cooking. So also more attention to that while Mars is in sixth house, especially if it will make also challenging aspects with your personal planets. Next we have Aquarius. For Aquarius, we have good news for your finances, because Mercury will turn direct after Thursday in your second house, which means that if there were financial complications, or maybe your income was up and down or not as you would like it to be, things can go back to normal now that Mercury turns direct. You may also have more new ideas how to improve your finances, how to improve your income. So overall, this position also helps you to be capable of materializing more your ideas, because second house is probably the most material house, and it's about creating something tangible, something measurable. And while Mercury is in your second house, you may have ideas which you may turn into reality, into something concrete. So overall, this is really nice. The other great news is that after Tuesday, Venus also enters your second house. Venus is naturally related to second house. If you remember, it rules second and seventh house, generally speaking. So Venus in second house is very, very strong, and it can bring you positive financial results, maybe some kind of support, or you may just enjoy buying something nice, buying nice gifts for yourself, for the people that you love, sharing that, and really experiencing nice positive emotions and fulfillment from your personal belongings, not only money. It might be related to anything material that you have. Also, this position may help you to balance more your energy. Second house is important for our physical energy, and especially if while Mercury was retrograde you have suffered from, you know, lack of energy, or things were, well, more special, more challenging, let's say, during this time. Now with Venus there, you may balance things. It's not that Venus, you know, brings power or anything like that, but it brings balance and harmony. So if you respect your body, I mean, if you take a good care, if you take time to relax, Venus in second house also will support you to go back to your balance. The other important news is that the transit Mars will enter your fifth house after Sunday. This is a harmonious position because Mars will make trine with your own sign, and it's always supportive because it will empower you, it will make you more active, more capable of doing the things that you love, because fifth house is really about the things that you love, the things that you enjoy, that your heart deeply and truly wants. It could be about literally your romantic relationships, or let's say your children, or your hobbies, the things that you truly love. Find more time and do them. Mars brings action, desire to take action. So go on a date, be active in your romantic life, especially if you want to attract a new partner or just have fun as well. Keep in mind, Mars in fifth house also can make you more risky. Fifth house is related to risks, and so is Mars. So you may take more risks. For example, for people who are gambling, or basically who have problems with gambling, this can be a challenging time, for example, when they may take too many risks. Of course, not everyone gambles, so for you it could be something else which you may take more risks in. And it can be both positive or challenging, of course. It really depends on how you are using it. But overall, Mars in fifth house is a supportive position for Aquarius. And finally, we have Pisces. For you guys, we have some great news, because after Thursday, Mercury turns direct in your own sign, which is wonderful. If things didn't work so well for you personally, for example, you felt confused, or you didn't know what to do, or you know, you start something and then it complicates, or there are misunderstandings, or you know, things take more time than you have planned. Now all of that will be behind you. You can throw it in the past and look in the future. You have a green light for starting new things. You can be more focused, not too focused, because after all, Mercury in Pisces is still affecting your creativity and intuition than the rational thinking, but there might be, you know, some kind of improvement even in that area, because after all, Mercury direct allows you to focus more, especially, you know, when it comes to starting new things. So generally that's great news. And the other thing which also affects you personally is that Venus enters Pisces as well after Tuesday. Venus in Pisces is a great time to enjoy your life. You may feel more attractive, especially for women. I highly recommend you to do something about your appearance. Pay attention to your hair, or maybe buy a new wonderful dress, or use a nice lipstick. Anything which will help you to feel more attractive. You may notice that your magnetism is increased, that men pay more attention to you, especially if you are a more feminine woman. You may notice that you really get this extra attention. And also for enjoying life, enjoying the things that you do, for romantic stuff, love experiences. This is just a fantastic position. So you are, I think, one of the luckiest signs during this week, and not only the week but also the next couple of weeks as well. So take advantage, guys. Do something nice for yourself, and something which will help you also to love yourself more. Venus in first house reminds you about that as well. To love yourself, to accept yourself, to appreciate yourself for who you are, not for who you imagine you want to be or who you think you will become, but for who you are right now. That's so important. The other important transit, Mars enters your fourth house after Sunday, which can generally put more attention to your family and home. You may do something together with family members, or maybe spend more time repairing something at home, making some small reconstructions as well, or doing something on your own which is not necessarily visible for others. Kind of a preparation period. The other thing which you can also do is just take a rest. When Mars is in fourth house, this is one of the best positions actually to slow down a little bit and to relax and find more time for ourselves. So make sure to find some time to relax, even if you can't take, you know, this 6 weeks just for relaxation. At least 1-2 days a week, or maybe 1 week in a row, find time to relax. Okay, so we are over with our prediction for the 12 signs. A very quick water break for me. I'm sorry I have to do this, guys, but it's just, you know, almost impossible for me to talk so long without a drop of water, so please excuse me. Next we can talk about the daily horoscopes. As I promised, you can find the links for each day of the week in the description below. So the 25th of March, Monday, generally we have a nice position for the moon because it will be in Sagittarius, the sign related to the future, to being optimistic and positive and more open to receive knowledge, to, you know, to receive wisdom as well. Another thing which is also great is that while the moon is in Sagittarius, it will make trine with the sun, which is in Aries. So we have a great harmonious aspect between the sun and the moon. Generally, it can allow you to express yourself, to feel like the outer world, the environment is friendly, nice, accepting. So take action, plan the week or even a longer period, because this optimism will really help you actually to achieve more and to believe that you can achieve more. So this is kind of a, you know, win-win situation. So overall, Monday looks great. The 26th of March, Tuesday, we have Venus entering Pisces. So great position for everyone. Venus is so romantic, so poetic, so sensitive and compassionate while it's in Pisces. So you may notice that you need a warmer connection with other people, that people are more polite, more open emotionally. Also, the topic about unconditional love is so important for Venus in Pisces. So make sure to express your feelings, to show your appreciation, to show your unconditional love towards the people that you truly love. And Venus in Pisces also allows you to be more creative, to enjoy more the art, the beauty, and everything around you. The transit moon will be in Sagittarius also during this day, which is very nice. The moon will join Jupiter there as well, the planet of the future, the optimism, the wisdom and everything. So great time to plan things, to receive this wisdom, or to feel connected with other people. We have optimism, we have romance, so the day is very nice as well. The 27th of March, Wednesday. First thing, keep in mind that Mercury will be stationary during this day, because during the next day Mercury will change its direction. So much more attention to your plans, to details. Definitely avoid signing contract or even starting new things. Things are much more likely to go wrong. Not 100% of course, but if there is something important, I would suggest that you reschedule it, or at least check everything as many times as you can. The great news for this day is that Venus will make sextile with Uranus, aspect which can bring excitement, which can bring more variety, some kind of positive surprises when it comes to relationships or emotions or creativity. Of course, artists, people who are creative might be more inspired, especially if you want to do something different, something more original, something that will separate you from other people. A great position. Also, something to keep in mind is that the transit moon will be in Capricorn. This sign suggests that we need to be more organized, we need to be strict, we need to be extra patient. And in my opinion, this specific combination, having the stationary Mercury while we also have the moon in Capricorn, means that everything will happen really slowly. There might be delays, or people may procrastinate, or things might be rescheduled. This is something so common. So make sure to be really more patient than usual, to be hardworking, pay attention to your responsibilities, of course, and try to be wise. Capricorn is also about doing the right things, doing what we are supposed to do. The 28th of March, of course, the biggest news of the week, that Mercury turns direct, so important for all of us actually. Time when things may shift. During this very day, we still need to be careful, but after tomorrow, we may notice that, you know, things are back to normal, not so many complications, not so many delays or mistakes or all of those typical Mercury stuff. Green light for starting new things, more focus on the future. So overall, I think we talked about this Mercury. So if you haven't watched your personal forecast, make sure to do that. All of the timestamps are below the video in the description. The other thing that we need to discuss is that right before Mercury makes this ingression, actually makes this shift in the direction, it will have a quintile with Mars. This is a nice aspect actually, which can bring possible changes, some kind of choices that we have, the opportunity to take action or to express ourselves more. So overall, this aspect actually brings more energy to Mercury and is actually something positive. Okay, I have a spider on my camera, hopefully you won't see it. Anyway, the other aspect for this very day is that Mercury will have also a semi-square with Uranus. Again, while Mercury is still retrograde. This aspect can bring surprises, some kind of possible stress, but also ability to think in a different way, to have a new approach, or to feel a stronger desire to be more independent. So this aspect is extremely interesting, and keep in mind that it will repeat tomorrow again after Mercury turns direct. So definitely those couple of days might be more surprising for us. And also we have the transit moon in Capricorn during the day, which requires more patience and hard work. On the other hand, we might be more responsible, and it's really important how we plan things. The 29th of March, Friday. First of all, we have the same aspect that we had yesterday, Mercury semi-square with Uranus. Yesterday, Mercury made the aspect while it was retrograde, then it turned direct, and today the same aspect repeats as well. Mercury semi-square Uranus, but this time Mercury is direct. So generally there might be surprises, there might be new ideas which are very sudden, very surprising, sometimes shocking even for ourselves, and more creative energy, generally speaking. In terms of communication, things are so-so. So you may expect surprises, you sometimes may even expect lack of harmony, or people might be reacting harshly or something like that. The other aspect is also excuse me, a quintile between Mars and Neptune. Very supportive aspect for creative work, for more inspiration, for using your intuition in the things that you create or the things that you do. You don't have to be an artist in order to use this creative energy, actually. Also, you may have the opportunity to help someone else, to show your compassion, and it's a matter of choice, because the quintile is an aspect which brings choices. So you are not forced, you don't have to do that, but you might as well want to do those things. So generally creative energy and choices. And the moon is still in Capricorn until the evening, actually. So more work, time for responsibilities, time to be wiser, to be grounded, and to be responsible. The 30th of March, Saturday. Great news, the moon is already in Aquarius. So overall emotional lightness, more cheerful experiences, more openness between people, great time for communication with friends, with groups, social projects, and anything like that. One thing that we need to be careful with, Venus will have a semi-square with Saturn, which is an aspect that can potentially bring some kind of barriers between people, or possible fears in relationships, or maybe some kind of restrictions. For example, let's say you may have more work, and that's why you may not have so much time for your loved ones or for your partner. So generally there might be some kind of things that you need to give up of. And this aspect also brings a higher need for stability and security, especially in relationships. And the 31st of March, Sunday, of course, one of the biggest news of the week, Mars enters Gemini. Okay, so many things I already talked about. So Mars enters Gemini, of course, which can make us more active, can bring more variety. As we said, Mars has recently been in Taurus, which is a weak position for Mars. And now that Mars enters Gemini, which is a stronger position, we may notice that things happen faster. We are braver, we are more active. The challenge is that we may not be so consistent, and we may lose our focus. We may do too many things at the same time, or switch too often between different activities, which eventually doesn't bring stable results. So make sure to do or to follow your priorities, actually, and do the really important things. And of course, Mars will stay in Gemini not only today, but actually for the next couple of weeks, around 6 weeks actually. So it is a big change, of course. The other aspect of the day is a quintile between Venus and Jupiter. The two benefactors can bring us some kind of happiness, some kind of positive emotions and experiences, and some abundance in our life. It could be emotional, it could be about a new dream, it could be about some support that we may receive, but overall this is just a great aspect. And the transit moon is in Aquarius during this day, which allows us to connect with other people, to spend more time with friends, or do something more interesting, more exciting, something which really activates us, which is more dynamic than usual. And of course, for a Sunday, this is actually great. So that's actually the end of our forecast. Thank you very much for listening to this video. Don't forget that all of those events you will find in the description below, and if you're interested in a concrete part, you can always come back here. Also, let me remind you that we are having our free webinar about the fears and the astrological indications for them and the remedies for fears, which we'll discuss. The webinar is on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, but you can always watch the recording later, again available through the same link. So thank you very much again. I'm happy to be here again. I really hope that you will enjoy the atmosphere. It's the beginning of the spring, so you know the trees are not so green yet, but hopefully you are able to hear the birds and really the nice calming energy which I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you next week.